Cruz on this very issue of why she was fired because she refused to go ahead and support the president's original travel ban. Listen to this exchange.
Is it correct that the Constitution vests the executive authority in the president?
Yes.
And if an attorney general disagrees with a policy decision of the president, a policy decision that is lawful, does the Attorney General have the authority to direct the Department of Justice to defy the President's order?
I don't know whether the Attorney General has the authority to do that or not, but I don't think it would be a good idea, and that's not what I did in this case.
Well, are you familiar with 8 U.S.C. Section 1182?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Well, it is the binding statutory authority for the executive order that you refused to implement and that led to your termination. So it certainly is a relevant and not a terribly obscure statute. By the express text of the statute, it says, quote, whenever the President finds that the entry of any alien or of any class of aliens into the United States would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, he may, by proclamation and for such period as he shall deem necessary, suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose on the entry of aliens any restrictions he may deem appropriate. Would you agree that that is broad statutory authorization?
I would, and I am familiar with that, and I'm also familiar with an additional provision of the INA that says no person shall receive preference or be discriminated against in issuance of a visa because of race, nationality, or place of birth. That, I believe, was promulgated after the statute that you just quoted. And that's been part of the discussion with the courts with respect to the INA, is whether this more specific statute trumps the first one that you just described. But my concern was not an INA concern here. It rather was a constitutional concern, whether or not this, the executive order here violated the Constitution, specifically with the Establishment Clause and equal protection and due process.
She basically crushed him.
I was going to say, Senator Cruz, you met your match, but crushed him is your word, and I think that that's just fine. Look, he was trying to do legal gotcha with the code, and she said, you know, I'll hear your legal gotcha and I'll one-up you, which is the United States Constitution. That's what I was following, and you know, it didn't work. Look, not every attempt to kind of get at what she was trying to do went as bumpily as that one, but that was certainly one to remember. And what Ted Cruz is a legal expert, and
he's a very, very smart guy. But
exactly.
He met his match.
He met his match.
Right.
Yeah.
He did. But what he went on to say, and this is the crux of his argument and his complaint, is that he believes she's making the argument that a litigant should be making in court, not what the acting attorney general should be making after the Office of Legal Counsel had already ruled on this. I'm just saying he sort of agreed that she had an argument to make. He just thought that she was making it in the wrong venue in that position.
Well, what they're trying to do is disqualify her as a liberal, right? I mean, the whole point of asking about the travel ban at this hearing and veering off in that direction was to kind of establish her bona fides, if you're a Republican, as somebody who is a liberal, was part of the Obama administration, and shouldn't be trusted. And I don't think that succeeded at all today.
Yeah, and she really, throughout all of these 3 hours of testimony today, she did remarkably well, you got to admit.
I mean, she was very well prepared for this hearing, for sure. And one of the things she said, to your point, she seemed to try to take it back to what her job was, which was, you know, being true to the Constitution. She said because she saw this, she thought this was unconstitutional and unlawful. That's why she chose to not.
And it's very interesting series of developments today on the Muslim ban from coming to the United States during this extraordinary.